Hello everyone, my name is Akal and I am a somatic therapist, astrological counselor, and in general, I tend to work with a lot of men as well as some women on a number of issues, oftentimes related to mental, emotional well-being, vitality, and often sexual functioning. So, with that being said, what I want to talk about today in this video is I want to talk about a word, and that word is intimacy. Intimacy, for those of you who are connected with astrology, who understand astrology, oftentimes when you're looking at intimacy and you're wanting to understand intimacy, you look at Scorpio. You look at the 8th house. Those are the houses that take you deep. Intimacy is meant to take you deep. It's meant to give you a deep experience, a connected experience. Intimacy, like the word sex, has become kind of frivolous in contemporary society and our culture. We tend to think of intimacy as being sex, and it's not. Intimacy, as I perceive it, is about proximity, closeness. Now, this closeness can be literal, like bringing two things together, like I'm bringing my right hand and my left hand intimately together. It also can be between inanimate objects, a tree. I can hug a tree and I'm being intimate with a tree. It's about bringing something closer. And again, you have to remove this idea of sex. Although sex is definitely a form of intimacy, which I'll get into in a moment. So I would like to do with this explanation is to take it on a very subtle level to a much broader level. Most of us have understanding of intimacy on a very broad level. On a very subtle level, and this is a level which you might not have ever considered. So Tantra, yoga, Taoism, a lot of these different systems, they essentially mean union. Union is intimacy. Again, it's about bringing two things together or multiple things together. This union that they're talking about, oftentimes, though, you have to look at it personally. So when I first started exploring Tantra, I, like most Westerners, thought it was a sex thing. And then the more I guess I practiced Tantra, the more Kundalini yoga I did, the more I realized, no, it has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with the greatest union there is. And that is a union that starts with connecting the ego, the personality, to the soul. Now, what's the soul? Without going into too deep of an explanation about that, the soul, to me, it's sort of the matrix or the pattern through which your energy flows. It's this, and this is in the body. This is connected very much with the body. It's connected with your drive in life, in your navigation. So when you're bringing your ego, your personality into connection with your soul, essentially you're connecting to your navigation. And this is a union. But there's another understanding here, is that your soul is connected to spirit, energy, prana, chi, Shen, whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, infinity. So when you're connecting to your soul, you're actually at the same time simultaneously connecting to something much, much greater, the totality. And that is intimacy. And that is what Tantra, yoga, Taoism, they're all attempting to do, is to bring you closer to that. So oftentimes the first step that many practitioners might take in exploring Tantra, the first thing it really requires is that you be able to access the present moment. And to access the present moment means you need to be clear. Because if you're in your head, you're thinking, you're spinning on something, there's no clarity. And you reduce your opportunity to be intimate with life. Again, bringing life closer. How can we bring life closer? Well, we become embodied. Now that seems a little vague, right? Well, the truth is, in the present moment, life is streaming through us, and we pick up many, 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 many impressions. And these impressions, most of the time, if we're spinning on something mentally, we're blocking. And if you're blocking, you're not experiencing. You're only being intimate with your own thought, your own worry, your own concern, your own anxiety. So what you're attempting to do through meditation, etc., is to find that present moment, to be mindful of how these thoughts pull you away from that present moment. Because once you're in that present moment, you can be intimate with another person. You can be intimate with, again, I said a tree before. It seems like a strange thing to be intimate with, but it's a real thing. I've had experiences of trees. I've had amazing experiences of trees. I know that makes me sound flaky as hell, but it's true. So, bringing back sex, because this is something that most of us, and particularly if you're a dude, you think about it a lot. And if you're a woman, you probably want more depth from it, more intimacy, more closeness, more of a bond. And one of the things that happens is, and I'll come from the typical male perspective here, is that men don't know how to be intimate often, or there's fear of intimacy. One of the ways which men kind of, short circuit our ability to be intimate has to do with thinking. If I'm concerned about, I'm going to ejaculate, or if I'm concerned that, I want to do this sexual thing or that sexual thing, some kink, then what ends up happening is I'm actually removing myself from sex. I'm removing myself from the intimacy. And instead, I'm being intimate with my thought, not my partner. I hope that makes sense. So we can talk about multiple levels of intimacy. So that is one form of intimacy. I talked about being intimate with life, with trees, but there's also the intimacy with your own body. And I don't mean masturbation. That is a form of intimacy with oneself, of course. But it's as simple as, let's say I do this. What is that? So if that's me, my ego, my personality, a call, being intimate with touch. And if I hold this for long enough, it actually gets really hot. Really, really, really warm. And what this is doing, this is creating a connection. Because isn't intimacy all about connection? And it's about that union that I brought up before. So if I'm wanting to create a connection with the physical form, the pathway towards that intimacy is sensation and feeling. Now, if I want to be intimate with my environment, without even being, let's say, close to some object, I can close my eyes and I can put my awareness around the body and sense my environment. That's me being intimate with the field, with the energy around me. Again, what all this requires is your presence. So if you want to enhance your intimacies in life, meditate. Again, it doesn't have to be an intentional practice. It could be you're taking a walk and you're just being objective and present with your thoughts. You're being neutral with your sensations, your feelings. You're allowing these things to stream past through your experience. And then you're intimate with every one of those thoughts, every one of those sensations. You bring them close to you. And isn't that what all of us want? Because we end up fulfilling our, attempting to create fulfilling lives through our careers, through having children, whatever it may be. And I'm not saying it's all folly. It isn't. But what I am suggesting is there's a lot of void filling that happens. Want more money, things like that, whatever it may be. Not poo-pooing any of it. But the reality is we want much, much, much less from, I guess, the material things in life when our experience of life is richer. And that requires intimacy. That requires that you be present so that when you are connecting to something intentionally, you have the full experience of that. And that could be sex, that could be a man, that could be a woman, that could be touch, that could be your pets, that could be trees, that could be grass, it could be the earth itself, it could be the area and the field around you. These are all things we can be intimate with. So hopefully I've clarified some things or totally confused you. But either way, I really do appreciate you watching this video. Thank you much.